Welcome on into 19 on the Clock, your Tri-State High School and College Sports podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pushkar. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jackson McCarty. And Jackson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brad. I'm doing great. We've got a short week, so we've got the podcast up a little bit early, and it's a good thing because we've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about before I head out of town.
Yeah,
so,
and before I take time off as well.
Exactly.
So.
It works out to where we get to record the episode early. It'll be out slightly
Thursdays.
early. Oh, no, it's still going to be, okay.
Still going to be out.
Well, then ignore my whole preamble.
But to put things into perspective, we're recording this 2 days before it's out rather than a little under 24 hours like we usually do.
Right, which it will create, some lapses with games being played and whatever, but point being, we are fully into the basketball season in terms of our big topics. We do have a couple or one little thing with football that we want to talk about, but last week you got to preview all of the boys' college basketball seasons to this point.
We're going to talk about women's this time.
Absolutely. And then at the high school level, the MLK Classic is coming up next Monday. So want to take a look at all of the four games that have been announced for Monday's Clash and give you a preview as to what to expect here.
Which is great because you're going to be able to watch all those games on 19.3 The Rock.
Yes.
And by the end of this episode, we will make sure that we have the other channels are.
Yeah. Well, because I know 9999 for Spectrum.
Okay. Yes.
Or maybe 999.
I think it's 3 nines. Okay. 999. And it's like 270 something on Alta Fiber, I believe.
Yes. Well, while you do that, would you like me to set up the one piece of football news we do have?
I'd love to. I'd love you to.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay, so you see, obviously we've had our questions about how their coaching situation is going to unfold, specifically over the next 12 months, because we knew Satterfield was not leaving, but that changes probably needed to be made to kind of show an investment into improvement. Mm-hmm. He's now brought in a new defensive coordinator, Nate Woody from Army, rather.
Correct.
Has some ties to Satterfield previously, but Brad, if you would have told me that Cincinnati was going to bring in a defensive coordinator from a military program and gave me $100 to bet which one it was, I would have lost money because PJ Volker at Navy, and I don't know his contract situation, I don't or whatever, but Navy's PJ Volker is an elder grad and has been lighting the world on fire as the Navy's defensive coordinator. Yeah. So I was like, and he played at Mount St. Joe, I believe, and I think coached there for a little bit as well. So when it got announced that a service academy defensive coordinator was coming, I was like, oh, surely it's PJ Volker, which would have been a great hire. But Nate Woody could absolutely be a good hire too.
Yeah, I mean, he worked at Thomas More for a little while, and was a letter winner at Mount St. Joe as well. So
I, just kind of funny that connection.
I mean, here's my thing. I like what you're thinking.
Yes.
And you're thinking of the broader picture of, well, if we want to
promote from within
yes. and support locally and fans and things like that. Nate Woody, defensive coordinator at Army, was also at App State from 2013 to 2017.
Right on. That rules.
With Scott Satterfield.
Yes.
So I'm not shocked at this. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Because I think, a change needed to happen. The defense was the weakest part of this last year, especially when you had an offense that was working well with Sorsby and things like that.
And if Satterfield has confidence in Woody, predating, I would argue the best part of his career to this point, his App State run was fantastic. It feels like he's 1 or 2 years left of leash, probably 1, maybe 2. Mm-hmm. You go to the guys that you trust, and you don't put too many eggs in one basket on here's this new guy that I think could be good. Feels like a nice middle ground of improvement versus known.
I think you are absolutely right that it's at a minimum 1 year.
Yeah.
I almost think that's the max too, where it's like you got to do something next year or it's done.
It falls apart again. You got to be gone.
Yeah, because I mean it'll be interesting to see if what happens with Wes Miller gives Satterfield any more leeway though, just because I could see the university not wanting to pay buyouts for 2 coaches at the same time, things like that. But I'm in my head. I'm also like, if you go, I have a year left. I'm going to bring in the guys that are with me and support me and we'll just go down on the ship together if that's really what's going to happen. Or we're going to raise the ship up and be like, hey, look at our ship.
Yeah, there's no onboard.
Yeah.
You can launch into it. You know exactly what this guy's getting. I'm sure it's a relatively familiar system to what his last guy was already running, just with sharper edges. So yeah, that's the hope and the prayer for them. I would assume.
Yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going into next year. I'm still kind of I like the idea of pulling from the service academies too. Of hey, get somebody that is pretty regimented, can really lock things down, train these guys up, build them into better players, things like that. So we will keep an eye on that. And on the other side of things, let's talk a little bit about women's basketball. Like you said, we talked about the men's side of things last week. And also, I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now, and then we'll say it again later. But The Rock is $253 on Altifiber.
Yeah, well, okay, so I found a thing. I've got the Spectrum one, which is $9.99.
Yep.
Cox Communication, no, that's not available.
Nope.
It's weird because on their website, it's giving me here. Let's see, what is 45203? It's giving me some options as to like where you may or may not be able to get it, but it's not giving me all the ones that I
just have the channel guide PDF open, and it says 253.
There we go. Okay,
that's why I'm pretty confident on 253.
You're doing better than I am.
But it's also 19.3 on satellite or on antenna. Excuse me. But yeah, let's look at the women's side of things because we did talk about the men's game, and we're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bearcats as well. This is a very interesting team because we obviously have been talking about them a little bit even before the season started because we have been keeping an eye on Dee Alexander and what she has been doing after Purcell Marion. She was injured to start the year, has now played in 5 games so far.
Trying to ramp up, too. She's not where she's going to be.
Well, and the way – and here's the thing. I think the way that this team is stacked, she wasn't going to be a starter this year. She was going to get good off-the-bench minutes, 6th, 7th man type thing. And I think she's starting to fill out into that role. But right now, it's the team is being led by Maya Perry, the senior guard. And like that, as the only senior on the team, it makes sense to let her keep being that guide.
Yeah.
That then Dee can take over from, or whoever needs to step up into that role next year. Because I do think it was interesting as I was looking at like roster stuff. Like Dee is just like 4 inches taller than most other guards on the team. Like, and so I was like, oh yeah, like 6'2". Okay, maybe you put her into like a 2 or a 3 role instead of point all the time. But.
Well, yeah, and it can be more of like a Cooper Flag where it's a 3, but it's really a 1.
Yes,
kind of situation where you have the extra ball handling, but that's not obviously all she can do. So it works out.
Yes, but Cincinnati is 6-11 right now, 1-4 in conference. That one win is over a ranked Iowa State team.
Yes.
Now I will say this: I do think Iowa State was down their best player. That win was on January 7th. I saw a lot of Iowa State fans being like, yeah, if you can't win this game with that roster, like the coach is the problem type thing.
Yes.
And so it's one of those things where you go, well, was it entirely skill based? Was it just the way that things lined up that day that it just happened to be a really good matchup for Cincinnati? I think the thing that I like the most about Cincinnati is that they're just playing consistently.
Yes.
You're not getting super streaky. You're not getting super high scoring quarters, but they are in this like 15 to 20 points per quarter range.
Yeah, just every single time if you can get 18 a quarter, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, it's that it was in that game against Iowa State. It was in the game against Texas Tech as well. Tech was so streaky because I think they had like 8 points in the first quarter, but then 30 something in the second, and the whole time UC is just like. Okay, 14, 15, 18, 20 something. So it's like a slow build up. But these are both 2 ranked teams. I believe Texas Tech is still undefeated across the country. So there's kinks to be worked out. I think there's things to figure out. But Maya Perry, like I mentioned, is leading the Bearcats in scoring 17.9 points per game, a 769 free throw average. She's followed by freshman guard Kalaya DeVillassi, who is 15.8 points per game, and junior guard Reagan Jackson, who's scoring 10.5 points per game. They are the only players in double digits right now, on average. Right. D has the 5th most points per game in 5 games at 6.4 for the season so far.
And again, ramping up, gonna get to where we want. Or the developmental process as a freshman, obviously. In the women's college side of stuff, it is still a more traditional 4-year setup. So got that time to grow. She's going to be where she needs to be. Had to work through the injury, and still a fun storyline to follow throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And end of the day, I don't think that this Bearcat team expected that this was going to be like the year. It was in some ways just already going to be we're getting a new, like, it was just such a huge freshman class. They're like, this is a building year. This is where we're going to be starting to work from here. Let's look for success down the road. This is our starting point.
You just have to keep them all together.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's
always the challenge now.
Isn't that lightning in a bottle at this point?
Their next game is Sunday versus West Virginia, and they will have played UCF between the recording and release of this episode. So that, like, records are going to be a little different than what we list off. But moving to Norwood from Clifton.
I don't think of Xavier as Norwood.
Well, let me tell you, it's down the street from me, and that is Norwood.
I know. I just for whatever reason, I don't think of Xavier as Norwood. I don't know what I think of Xavier as, but it's not Norwood.
Yeah. Musketeers are 9-7.
They are
2-5 in the Big East. I will say this: it is very much a 6-7 player rotation right now. I didn't do that on purpose, but
no. But I was watching you to make sure you didn't do the rest of it. Keep it to yourself. Yep.
Keep your hands. Sorry, keep my hands to the mic.
Yep.
The thing that I worry about is just that I don't know if you're getting enough from both the starters and the bench in a way. Junior guard Mariah Noel is the only player who has taken over 200 shots.
Okay.
She's shooting 355, 15 points per game. No one else is in double digits for scoring. She's the only major 3-point threat. It's
that 35%. That's the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the field.
Okay.
Lower 3-point average, stuff like that. So, I think it's a team that needs somebody else to step up. Mm-hmm. You need somebody else to be a little bit more consistent, to be a threat, to draw defenses away and things like that. But
it's weird that even with UC having like a pretty substantially worse record, I feel less optimistic for Xavier because it feels like there's not really anybody that's elevating to elevate everyone else, if that makes sense. You do have to kind of have a front runner, a Maya Perry to lift the remainder so that, drawing that attention and whatnot. So,
I think that's what Noel is the Maya Perry. It's just that you don't have the Reagan Jackson, the Kalia DeLassy type thing. It's just one that I'm like, I think you need one other person to just step up, be a little bit more involved, have somebody just be a 3-point shooting threat, and make it be that option. Or one of the forward centers is just, somebody that can threaten to get easy layups or get paint shots and make it, make that be the viable option of getting the ball in the basket. So
yeah,
it's all questions. But their next game is going to be Saturday versus St. John's. They're playing DePaul tonight as we are recording this.
There you go.
Moving over to a ranked team now, going across the river down to Lexington. Number 7, the University of Kentucky, the Wildcats, 16-2, 3-1 in the SEC.
Who said Kentucky basketball struggling? They seem like they're doing great.
You just got to look for the right team.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic.
Got to go to Historic Memorial Coliseum instead. They have big wins over LSU, a ranked LSU, Miami, and a ranked Oklahoma just this last weekend. Center Clara Strack leading the team with 16.2 points per game. You may recognize her name from last year. She was a big contributor as well. Just a junior, still have another year with her. So I do think that that's a good sign for UK because I feel like they are committed to this team as well. Try and keep the players all stuck, or not stuck, but all wanting to stay in Lexington and sticking around. Thank you.
Of course.
Junior guard Asia Boone and senior forward Amelia Hassett are some perimeter shooters, shooting .359 and .302 averages over 100 attempts beyond the arc, which is that is the thing I would like to see from a Xavier player to add on to that. They're kind of making it work. It feels like a much more offensively minded team versus their counterparts who are also in Kentucky that we will talk about in a second, where I think that side is a much more defensively minded team.
Well, and I like when teams are constructed like that, because it's like it's kind of a gravitational thing to it. You know, if you will, Clara gets to serve, or Clara rather, gets to serve as the anchor, as the earth, if you will, just right there in the middle. And then the two Moons that are the three-point shooters get to just rotate around the arc, play outside, let her do her thing inside. It creates a nice balance, because we know mid-range is dead at this point. Yeah. You know, it's not really something teams strive to create. So how do you become the most efficient and the most versatile you can be at two levels?
Yes.
And Kentucky's figured that out, in my eyes.
My favorite thing when I go on like Twitter sometimes is I'll see people who just post heat maps. And if there are shots outside of either the paint or around the arc, they're like, what are we doing? Why did we take 4 shots from the middle of no man's land?
Dude, I have a player when we get to the MLK Classic.
Okay.
The most three-point shooter of all time. Like, his heat map has like so few dots of anywhere that's not behind the arc.
My heart.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's incredible. Sorry, but
no, you're fine. The Wildcats' next game is against the Florida Gators Thursday at 7 p.m.
Beautiful.
Let's go to the Northern Kentucky Lady Norse. They are 8-11, 5-3 in the Horizon League. Forward freshman guard. See, I screwed myself up. I put an F in and I read it as forward instead of freshman.
Yeah, you got to do the FR.
Yep. Freshman guard Karina Beastry is scoring 12.9 points per game. Freshman forward Maddie Moody, 10.6 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game. This is one of those things where we always talk about it with teams like Northern Kentucky and some other schools. It's just that they are going to have a lot of younger players who have to step up and then maybe get stolen away when they do too well.
Exactly.
So,
well, yeah, and especially because like last year was still a bit of a struggling point. You know, they were 11-21 overall. Mm-hmm. 8-12 in conference was the silver lining, right? Like they kind of proved that they were working towards into it. Their home record 6-8, so it's like you had stuff that you could build on, but unfortunately, like you said, you get too comfortable and people start flying off. Now, it does look like they have built upon it, and they're making their progress in certain categories, especially in conference. I mean, they're almost to the same amount of wins that they had anyways. But, it's just interesting because, like you said, it's such a painful effort to keep any core together, especially at a school like NKU.
Absolutely. And they are on a 5-game win streak right now, which has been all their Horizon League games. Purdue Fort Wayne, IU Indy, Detroit Mercy, Youngstown State, Robert Morris. The only loss, I believe, was Cedarville early on or something like that, or a little bit ago. Something like that. Their next game is at Wright State, Saturday at 2 p.m., and we'll have played Milwaukee on Wednesday.
There you go.
And now I'm going to take a hard left turn from my notes because I realized that I messed up.
Oh.
And I totally forgot the Miami Redhawks.
There we go.
Which is a shock from me.
I'm about to say.
As the son of a Miami grad.
I didn't know that. That's fine.
Yeah. So the Redhawks are 12-4 overall.
Yep.
4-0 in conference. Let's look up some overall player leaders real quick. Amber Treader is leading with scoring 14 points per game, followed by Amber Scalia at 13.5. And we will Amber Treader is also leading the team in rebounds at 8.2 per game, which is very nice. Their next game is going to be against, I believe it was Bowling Green. I just saw. Let me double check.
They've got one tomorrow, so Wednesday against Eastern Michigan.
So as you are listening to this, their next game is going to be at Bowling Green on Saturday.
They've won 5 straight.
Yes.
That loss that they broke up was to Colorado. So whenever you expand it,
I would say losses to Colorado, Washington State, Purdue,
and that should be it, right?
And Oakland.
Did I scroll past one of them? Because I'm not. Okay. Well, either way, they're in a really good spot right now.
Oakland.
I'm impressed. Yeah, no. Yeah, Purdue, I mean, there's got to be 4.
Washington State. Colorado. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, no.
So I did it.
But either way, very impressive team to this point in the year. Miami basketball.
Shout out to Miami basketball on both ends.
Yeah. You love to see it.
I know we're not talking about it. Cowards at the AP not putting them in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Only receiving votes, which I think they were like 29th if you do the math, 28th, something like that. Put Miami in.
Yeah, I don't understand what the logic is.
I don't know, get one of those teams like Tennessee out of there or something like that. I don't
know. Don't pick fights. I don't understand, which we shouldn't be ranked right now. But
correct.
Yeah, I am with you as in terms of that. This is the worst. This is the worst Tennessee roster I've seen in a minute. But because should Seton Hall be there over them? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
A 14-3 Clemson.
I mean, listen. Without going too deep into this, when you look through that entire top 25,
it's good teams.
Well, but it's also like 2 teams that aren't in the Big 10, Big 12, SEC or ACC.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, like the Big East competes.
Yeah, you have 11-5 SEC teams: Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, all within that 19 to 25 range.
Yeah.
You've got 12-4 Texas Tech at 15. You've got 12-4 Arkansas at 17. 14-3 Clemson at 22. Like, come on, we can. The Billikens are right on the outside. Kansas right on the outside. Obviously, Miami.
Yeah.
Right on the outside.
I understand the desire to be like, well, these teams are playing tougher teams.
Sure, but
than the MAC is giving you. But like when you are Miami and you are winning as consistently as you can, the voters need to be watching the other games. Where I'm gonna. It's gonna be my shots fired segment. So,
but yeah, you could so easily drop. There should be no point through 16 games that a 5-loss team is in this at all.
Correct.
And that removes 3 teams, and that's as a Tennessee fan, like that removes Tennessee.
Yes.
And that's fine. We can work our way back into it, but
you build it up from there.
Right.
Like if you have 5 losses at the end of the season, it's different than right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Either way, you're right. It's now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Speaking of ranked teams, let's go down to Louisville, number 9 Cardinals, 16-3 and 6-0 in the ACC. They're just running through that conference right now. This Cardinal team, averaging 82.9 points per game. Holding opponents to 58.2.
Golly.
24-point difference.
That's high school numbers. And
yes.
Complimentary, obviously.
Yes.
That's gross in a good way.
Well, and that's my thing. You have sophomore guard Tayana Roberts, 12.3 points per game. Senior forward Laura Ziegler, Siegler, 11.2 points per game, 7.4 rebounds. And then you have junior guard / forward Skylar Jones, 39 steals, so a little over 2 a game, 9.7 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, it's multifaceted.
It's everybody's is contributing on both sides of the ball, but you're also just locking things down so hard on these teams that they are not even getting close.
And again, not like a truly elevated star at this point.
No.
Just point scoring, whatever. But just such a solidified unit that you don't really have to have one. Makes me a little nervous for tournament time, but for the time being, I mean, it very clearly has not led to very many issues for them.
I imagine when you get to tournament time, the player they'll be focusing on is Siegler.
Probably.
Just because of that, like, scoring, defense, both sides, easiest storyline to kind of use. But we'll kind of see what comes out of that. They will be at Notre Dame on Thursday.
Okay.
Is their next game. And another ranked team is number 14 Ohio State, 15-2, 5-1 in the Big Ten.
Beautiful.
Showing that they are still competing in the Big Ten despite losing half of the active roster in the offseason. Still upset teams like Illinois and Maryland. Maryland losing 89-76 to the Buckeyes.
Mm-hmm.
That is a top 10. That was a top 10 ranked Maryland at the time, if I'm not mistaken. You have sophomore guard Jelani Cambridge, 21.2 points per game. Senior guard Chance Gray, you may recognize a Winton Woods grad, 12.7 points per game. Redshirt freshman guard forward Kylie Kitts, 9.8 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game. And junior guard Kennedy Cambridge, 70 steals, 8.5 points per game.
70 and 17 games is over 2 a game. It's almost
4
a game, yeah.
Nearly 4.
Golly. Yeah,
no, it is 4. It's over 4.
Yeah.
Because it'd be 68 in 17. So that was the stat that I told you, hey, I'm really excited for you to hear.
Horrifying.
Because you always give me, hey, check out this stat from this guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out Kennedy Cambridge, man. Defense is not dead.
Sticky fingers.
Yeah, uh-huh. That's 4 a game.
Yeah, that is according to the Ohio State statistics book, which I also misread when I was first putting these notes together, as I told you. And so
what was the girl last year? She had 5?
She had 77.
All year?
I think so. And that's the really scary part.
God bless.
But they are going to have a game against TCU on MLK Day. They will be playing Penn State on Wednesday, though, between the recording and release as well. And finally is Thomas More.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to shout them out as they are 13-1, 5-1.
Yeah,
Only losses to Cedarville University, 63-51. Senior forward Serenity Webb, who played at Simon Kenton, 12.9 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game. More offensive rebounds than defensive, 39-34.
Mm-hmm.
You have senior forward Riley Turner, who's at 12.2 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game. She is a New Cath grad. And junior forward Izzy Rodert, 10.2 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game. She is a Mercy McCauley grad as well.
I can't say for certain. Oh, and it's probably not.
Okay.
But I wonder if she's related to Hank Rotere, who is at or who was at Harrison.
Probably.
Because it's a weird enough last name.
Also, that's Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's from Harrison, so.
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out a talented family.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's what comes to the core of why we do this each week, of recognizing the local players who that are still playing, whether it be high school, moving on to college, and then college to pros, things like that. It's nice to see a bunch of local players doing stuff at college. And it was also really funny as I was going through the roster is that there is one of the girls on Thomas More went to the same high school as me as well.
Right
from
on.
Fort Wayne. So I was like,
that rules.
Hey,
like would have no, never mind. I was about to say would have been around the same time, but that's old bounce. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
We had a discussion.
I'm turning to dust. That's crazy.
We had a discussion before the podcast for the unaware, discussing Brad's impending doom.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
It's a beautiful way of putting it.
Which is his 30th birthday, of course.
Yes.
So happy early.
This will be coming out on my birthday. So
well, then happy birthday.
There we go.
There you go. Even better. But you talk about local athletes that we get to talk about and follow their stories and promote how they're doing at the collegiate level. Obviously, before that, to be local, they're at the high school level.
Yeah.
And we have a number of guys that I do fully expect to see at the college level who will be on showcase this upcoming Monday at the Cintas Center for the MLK Classic.
MLK Classic, yes. This is not the same as the Holiday Hardwood Classic, but an extension of it and expansion.
Same organizer, same
yes.
general. If you've been to the Holiday Hardwood Classic, it is going to be a similar setup. It's going to be a very familiar song and dance to you.
And if you go back to our interview with Rich in December, talking about what his goals have been for these kinds of events and exhibitions, this is just a natural stepping stone for it all.
And certainly not the last stepping stone that you should expect here.
Because he wants to do more sports than just basketball. And power to him.
A football classic would rule.
Football and volleyball.
I know.
I think it would be great.
I know. But all right.
Let's talk about matchups.
But I say we got to get through the MLK Classic before we can get to any of those.
Yep.
first and foremost, a team that we've become very familiar with. Feels appropriate to be our leadoff, especially because they are in the matinee position and in the opener for the tournament, Lakota West.
Yes.
The Firebirds, again, we've discussed them quite a bit. They're 11-0, average almost 68 points per game, hold teams to under 50 allowed every game. Beat Hamilton, who they are playing here, 82-61 earlier this year. So there's precedent that's been set for the Firebirds that they expect to 20-bird Hamilton. I don't know that I fully believe that that's what's coming their way, though. Sure. So do want to shout out Josh Tyson. He dropped 20 versus Big Blue the first time they played. He's a player we've talked about ad nauseum already to this point over the last 2 years. Dude's been making waves. And because he's a fantastic ball player. Over 17 points per game, nearly 5 assists, over 4 boards. His main cohort throughout the year, a player that we talked about in the names to know before when the season had just started, because I was like, hey, this tandem might be the best tandem in the tri-state.
Yes.
Bryce Curry. Has not quite had the eye-popping numbers that I expected at this point in the year. That's okay, because he's still been an impressive player so far, 13.5 points per game, over 4 boards, over 2 assists. And then to round it out, just to give you a little bit more insight into that game against Hamilton earlier this year, Andre Richardson dropped 18 against Big Blue, so he's got an impressive performance that I'm sure he would like to follow up on. Hamilton, okay, they are 6-5, average 55 points per game, 51.8 allowed. The trick here for me is I think that they have guys who are capable of making noise against West. I think West is a more talented team naturally,
sure.
But I think that Hamilton can put together a performance that could be really fun on Monday. So notably, Knox Mills was the team leader against West when they first played, and he, by the way, before we jump into the remainder of the team, this guy was made for you.
Okay.
Knox had a team-high 15 points against West.
Beautiful.
He was 5 for 11 on threes.
Naturally.
That game. All season, he is 22 for 80 shooting at just point-blank period, 19 of 70 from behind the arc. Yes. 10 of his shots. Yes. Singular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Barely double digits of his shots were not behind the arc. So if you're developing a game plan on Knox Mills, you probably figure out what kind of shot he likes.
I want to put him in my 2K squad now.
There you go. Yeah, Knox Mills shout out. But beyond him, you have your sniper, so to speak, there. Jordan Johnson Perdomo would be your main scorer.
Okay.
I think an underrated player. I believe he's popped up on FQ a couple times, justifiably so. Almost 16 points per game, over 3 boards, 3.5 assists, 3 steals, and then 32.4% behind the arc. Just a little bit of a do-it-all kind of cat.
I mean, when you look at his numbers, it's kind of almost the average of Tyson and Curry.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it's well, and especially because like the steals total, I think might have been bigger than both of them combined.
Sure.
Even though we know Josh Tyson's a great defensive player and what have you, but yeah, he's right there in the middle of that. R.J. Wilson is offering the upside with the boards, 5.1 rebounds a night, but also 10.6 points per game, 1.8 steals. I think that Big Blue has a chance to make this game kind of nasty, kind of sloppy, and therein lies their chance to make this one close and then possibly win this game.
It would be keeping the Firebirds on the back foot,
yes,
through the game and not letting them take control, play the game that they want to play, force them to play your game.
Exactly. And you have the ability to play through Johnson Perdomo. You have Knox Mills who can work it behind the arc. You've got R.J. Wilson who's down there to clean up boards. And then obviously as a collective, you guys are good at stealing the ball. Lean into that. Even if you're drawing even if you're causing some fouls, the more pressure you can apply to them, the more uncomfortable they're going to be.
Yeah.
And so watch out for Hamilton to be very tenacious on the defensive side of things.
Okay.
Next up, we stay in the GMC. Double time here. We go across Westchester to Lakota East, who is hosting Middletown. So the Thunderhawks are 7-3. They beat Middletown 53-34 this year. So Middletown the ball is in their court to get a little vengeance, right? Again, Lakota East, an interesting situation here because they spread out pretty consistently as to, like, Brady Bowman is the leading scorer, 14 or over 14 points per game, had 20 against the Middies the first time they played. But Luke Shaw, Brody Hayes, both just barely over 7 points per game. They shoot well as a team behind the arc, 35% 3-point. It's just an interesting – it feels like it rotates so heavily as to who's going to be number 2 through 4 most nights. Whenever you click into their box score, it could be really any number of like 8 or 9 guys that are on their roster. Could be the second best player of the night. It's just a hot hand mentality. So watch out for Lakota East to be multiple and to, if something's not working, to be able to pivot to something else pretty quick. The Middies are 1-5. They average just shy of 45 points per game, allow just shy of 58. Shout out Keith Daniels. He had 18 versus East. He has 15 points per game on average, almost 4 boards, 3 assists, over 2.5 steals. Like, he is a very solid like centerpiece for a team that has underperformed to this point, but I do believe could grow quite a bit because the next 2 players I want to talk about have recently joined the team for the first time this year.
Okay.
So Chris Destin has played 1 game. He dropped 12 points. Mario Rose has played 1 game. He dropped 9 points, 7 rebounds, and a block. That if those are the second and third highest point scorers for this roster.
Okay.
If those guys can maintain that, I think Middletown flips around in a pretty substantial way. Because if you look at the difference in points per game to points allowed, that is currently about 13. About 13 points. 21 points between those 2 new guys. If you can find that consistency and obviously perfect world, all the numbers remain the same, sans adding theirs. But you've got a pretty big swing where things could really start to turn around.
Yeah.
So I think that's a point to be encouraged about for the Middies.
I was like, Rose feels like the guy that just comes in and you just start getting.
Yes.
It's not just the points he scores, it's the points he prevents type thing.
Exactly. If you can have somebody who can control the low post, especially at the high school level, that is such a game changer.
Yes.
So watch out for Destin and Rose on Monday. I think that could be a big factor in that game.
Okay.
Now let's transition to the only Kentucky game that we have, the penultimate game on the schedule, Ryle versus Oldham County. Obviously, Oldham County, the Colonels, not in our region, but we do have some stats behind what you might know them from, so to say, with the teams that they've played locally. So they're 6-8. They've lost to Simon Kenton, Highlands twice. They lost to Highlands twice in a week. Okay. It was those classics.
Oh, yeah.
Because they went to some classic and they were at a different classic, and Highland was the same.
We're always there.
Yep.
Yeah.
They lost to Highlands twice, Hamilton and Lloyd. But worth noting, they score 71.3 points per game, shoot over 30% as a team behind the arc, and have 30 boards per game, which is a pretty high mark. Ty Bryant, Malachi Bowen, Matt Withrow all average over 13 points per game. Ty Bryant over 18. They've got a lot of scores, and again, we don't really get the assist totals and all that with how Kentucky lists their stats. So Ty Bryant, Matt Withrow combining for over 12 rebounds a game as well. Now, for the Raiders.
Yes.
I want to talk about my concerns with the Raiders in classics.
Okay.
Because sometimes you just notice things when you're going through stats.
Trends.
And you go, that's actually kind of fun. So Ryle is 8-6. They're on a 4-game winning streak.
Solid.
So don't count them out. They're coming into this with a little bit of momentum, but they are 2-4 this year in classics. That includes 0-1 in the Carroll County Christmas Classic. Say that 5 times fast. 1-1 in the Scott Winter Classic. 1-2 in the Jim Rose Central Bank Classic. So it seems that those clusters of games give them a little bit of pause, but the Carroll County one, they only played 1 game. So it just becomes kind of a hodgepodge of whatever. Also tells me that they love tournaments, which is an encouraging thing for the mentality of a team.
Yes.
I love to see a team that's like, yeah, we'll sign us up for whatever random mix match thing that we can get involved in. And it's proven to be, somewhat valuable because they've got a lot of impact players in a lot of different ways on their roster. Holden Smith is the primary scorer, 17.1 points per game. He gets about 4.5 rebounds. A.J. Davis, 11.8 points per game. He has over 6 rebounds. Anthony, I believe it's Coppola. I know it's Coppola, for Francis Ford Coppola, but I believe it's Coppola. 11.4 points per game, 4.2 boards. And then Grayson Sooty, 7.5 points per game, 8.8 boards. It's just kind of this like gradient scale, which I know A.J. Davis kind of slightly tweaks that a little bit.
Sure.
But like as you go down on the points, it feels like the rebounds just get larger. And that just kind of
because you're grabbing the board, you just pass it back out to somebody. Yeah,
exactly. And you might get your second chance opportunity.
Yes,
sprinkle throughout there as well. So look for Ryle to maybe become 3-4 in classics if all holds right and goes.
See if they can buck the trend that you are believing they will follow.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because I would love to. I would love for that to start moving the other direction for the local team. Mm-hmm. And then if we didn't have a headline for this section, we do now, because I was talking to sports director Joe Danneman, and this next game,
smart guy,
yes, very smart guy, he dubbed was going to be 2 of the 4-ish best teams in the region, because without sitting there and killing 30 minutes of looking at all the teams and whatever,
it's the who are the best teams in the region, and you're like, well, I got like 4, maybe 5,
yeah. It's like,
well, 4-ish.
Do I want to include Princeton? Do I want to include Winton? Do I want to include, whatever?
Yeah. You
know who we are including in that short list? St. X and Covcath.
Okay.
2 very impressive teams to this point in the year. We'll start with the Bombers. 8-2 so far, 58.6 points per game. So not GCL south of them. I am so used to that number starting with a 4 or it being a low 5. So congratulations to St. X for having an offense. 37.2 points allowed per game. I went super in depth with the turnovers and then the turnovers forced. So as a team, 8.6 turnovers per game. If they get 8.2 steals a game as a unit, 1.3 blocks per game, so they are winning that turnover battle on average. That's big to see. Mm-hmm. Also, 14.5 assists per game, I think was one of, if not the highest number that I saw of the teams that we've talked about in this tournament. Players that you need to know: Liam McCarty, 14.6 points per game, almost 4 boards, shoots 42.3% behind the arc. That's a pretty great rate.
That's a very good rate.
Yep, so keep eyes on him back there. John Veith, 8.9 points per game, 4.8 boards. And then Jack Ryan averages 7.4 points per game, almost 4 assists. He's just a name that you see a lot anytime St. X is on FQ. Mm-hmm. And so I know his impact is a little bit understated in these stats. Make sure that you're prepared accordingly, because he can be kind of that main distributor for the team. Okay. And leads to results often. And then Covcath, 13-1. Also, I don't know if I said the lone Kentucky matchup. I hope I did, because that's what I meant, because obviously we do have 3 Kentucky teams with Covcath.
I think you did say matchup, but
okay,
yes, good clarification.
Yes. They are 13-1, 81.2 points per game. Comfortably the highest number we've seen.
Yeah.
They are uber volume, and they've still got a good defense on them. They've held opponents below 40 4 times this year, below 58 times, and then one game they allowed Lee from Huntsville, Alabama to score 50. So obviously that bumps up to 9 when you do that. So 9 of your 14 games were 50 or less allowed. You take that, especially when you're averaging 81 points per game. 40.9% behind the arc as a team.
Yeah.
Absurd. And then obviously you've got Athens McGillis, a player we talked about at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Almost 24 points per game, over 41% behind the arc. Braden Myrick is his wingman. I would say that this is probably the best duo in Northern Kentucky for sure, and maybe the Tri-State, because Braden Myrick averages 17.7 points per game, 52.2% behind the arc on 90 shots. He's not a big man. He ain't taking 7 of them.
No.
He is making over half on 90 And then Donovan Bradshaw, 11.2 points per game, and then about 6 boards. So you've got him to be able to clean things up. So I lean Covcath in this matchup purely because any game Covcath's in, I'm just kind of going to have to lean Covcath. They're a really good team.
Well, that's like you mentioned Braden Myrick, and I'm like, oh, he's the second highest shooter at this point. And you go back up and look through all of our other teams that we just talked about, and aside from Oldham County, he would be the highest scoring player on every other team. Yep. And that includes a Josh Tyson, Bryce Curry, Lakota West, and things like that. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's good. He'd be good on any other team too. So.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that I'm not sure of classes with these two guys. But if Athens, I believe is a senior, if he graduates and Braden Myrick still has a year of eligibility, he's going to elevate right into that 24 points per game position that Athens is holding down right now. I can check real fast if you want me to.
After 2 seasons, so he's a junior.
Okay, so there you go. So, yeah, he'll have his year of being the certified number 1 for Covcath next season. So, yeah, obviously you get to watch all those games on Monday.
You get to watch them at the Cintas Center. Yep. Do you remember, is it noon when they start, correct? Yes. So the games start at noon. You can watch them at the Cintas Center. Tickets will still be available as well. If you want to stay at home, enjoy your day off for MLK Day, you can watch those games live on the Rock Entertainment Network. That is 19.3 over antenna. That is channel 253 on Alta Fiber, and that is channel 999 on Spectrum.
Beautiful. I know you did.
I kept the channel guide up. That's the most important part. But yeah, again, we just love supporting those local teams and things like that. And FOX19 being a media partner with those events, always nice to do. And if you want to watch more great sports content, don't forget to subscribe to the FOX19 Now sports feed, as where you get us on Thursdays. You get the Gold Standard on Fridays. The video versions are always available on our website and on the FOX19 Now YouTube page. And is there anything else that I'm missing that we need to
I don't think so. Gold Standard, but I mean,
we've got a lot of Ohio State and UC basketball games coming up on our air soon.
I think what the problem is now that we're out of Bengals Now season.
It feels like I should have one more, but
correct.
I don't.
Yeah, so it's just a reacclimation thing.
And we will have college basketball on Monday on FOX19, so we will not have our normal newscasts that day.
3 to 7 p.m., no newscasts, just basketball.
Correct.
But we have the morning shows in totality, and I believe we have I know we have the night shows in totality, 10 and 11.
Yeah. From noon to 2 on Monday, we will have Ohio State versus TCU.
Sweet.
We will have Ohio State versus Michigan on January 23rd at 8 p.m. Bearcats playing the Houston Cougars on the 31st. Ohio State playing Wisconsin right after that. Plenty of great basketball coming up for the rest of this month. So be sure to watch all those games and be sure to follow us online. But that is all that we have for this week. So we will see you next time.
Have a good one.